Inside Michigan Football is presented by Meyer. Hi again, friends, and welcome to another edition of Inside Michigan Football. Doug Karsh alongside John Jansen following Michigan's 52-17 win over the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Going on the road in the Big Ten can be tough if you don't come ready to play, and Rutgers proved that in the first half tonight.
A lot of teams in the Big Ten proved that today. You go on the road, you've got to bring your A game. Michigan didn't have the A game in the first half, going to halftime down, but they responded. And that was the key today, the ability to respond.
All right, let's get to the highlights. First play of the game, a rollout. It was J.J. McCarthy finding Ronnie Bell for 35 yards.
You know, when you get a chance to start off, you've got Jeff Percy in his first start at left tackle. Hey, let's go play action pass. Let's let him be aggressive, roll out to the right, extend the pocket for J.J. McCarthy, and all of a sudden you find Ronnie Bell. It's a great way to start the game.
Andrew Anthony, I like this catch because he's hit as soon as the ball gets there, but he hangs on.
Well, you know as a receiver where the defensive backs are at. He knew he was going to take a hit. When you catch it and you're able to secure that ball and take the hit, that's a big-time play.
Here's a 3rd and 8, and J.J. scrambles, gets a first down with his feet.
This is about 3 or 4 weeks now where we've said, hey, J.J.'s starting to take that next step. That next step is being able to pick up those first down yardage with your feet.
Then Donovan Edwards gets involved with a 12-yard run. He went for over 100 yards tonight.
He's so aggressive when he runs the ball, and there are times where he's almost a little bit too aggressive, but be able to run behind his pads, be able to pick up yardage like that and take a little bit of a load off of Blake Corum, it's outstanding.
They wanted to score touchdowns in the red zone, and they did in the first half, but it took them to 4th down. Here's Blake Corum on a short touchdown run.
They wanted to make a point, and I'm not sure what that point is other than the fact that they were eventually able to get it in. Hey, it doesn't matter how many times it takes. The whole goal is to be able to put it in, and he showed some confidence in his O-line by going for it on 4th down.
So that made it 7-0, but Rutgers gets a blocked punt here on a well-designed punt rush. This is one of their specialties, and they get a touchdown out of it.
It is, and when you watch this, they're trying to take everybody from the center to the left side and slant people across their face. They bring Max Melton in right behind them. Everybody's shoulders are turned. They don't recognize him. It's a well-designed play. Michigan just has to do better.
Rutgers tries to catch Michigan sleeping. Onside kick. The Wolverines recover.
Hey, you know when you play against this team, you're going to see trick plays. They are undermanned. They don't have as much talent as Michigan does, so what do? They try and capitalize on some of that momentum. Michigan was ready for it.
This is Blake Corum's longest run of the day, 43 yards.
Just an outstanding run, and when you watch the blocking on this play, whether it's the quarterback that gets in on the action, love seeing him. We talk about wide receivers, we talk about running backs and blitz pickup. Quarterback's got to get in the mix too.
And again, 4th down in the red zone. This time J.J. McCarthy keeps it for a touchdown.
Yeah, and hey, it's all about getting that 6 points. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if it's not creative. It's just about getting in the end zone.
Wolverines on top, 14-7. Rutgers puts a drive together here, a fade into the corner of the end zone. Will Johnson, the freshman, got the start, and he helps them get a stop, which set up a Rutgers field goal that made it 14-10. Now let's get to our first Jansen Vision play of the day. Mason Graham makes a play in the middle of the defensive line.
Well, when you hear about the tenets of this defense, one of them is block destruction. It doesn't have to be blowing up blocks. You're going to see Mason Graham. He's down at the defensive tackle position. He's going to swim over top of the first block. He's going to avoid the second block and come inside here and get a tackle for loss. He does an outstanding job of awareness, swim, pick off, and then, hey, you got to locate the back and find it. He does a great job of doing just that.
We pick up action. Taylor Upshaw gets upfield here, forces Wimsatt to step up to Mike Morris, who gets another sack.
Well, the sacks come because you're aggressive, and it doesn't always, the guy that gets the sack, not necessarily the reason why. Taylor Upshaw all game long was getting after the quarterback and a lot of other beneficiaries of it.
Rutgers converted some 3rd and longs. This was a 49-yard reception to Chris Long, broken tackle, but Rod Moore chases him down, maybe saves a touchdown.
Rod Moore starts 5-6 yards behind this receiver, and all of a sudden it's just pure speed and pure want to. And if you're going to dig yourself a hole, you've got to have guys with that want to help you dig out of it.
That set up this back shoulder throw for a touchdown to Sean Ryan, and Rutgers led it 17-14. The Wolverines, however, late in the first half put together a drive, and this was uncharacteristic. Jake Moody, who was making kicks from 55 in pregame warmups, this was his second 50-yarder that he missed wide.
Yeah, and I don't know what was going on in the first half. It affected the offense, it affected the defense, it affected special teams. We saw the block punt already. Jake Moody, we know that we've got confidence in him. The coaching staff knows that, his teammates know it, and it just was unfortunate. We had one wide right, one wide left.
17-14, that was the score at the half. And as frustrating as the first half was for Michigan fans, the second half was that good. Believe me, this guy was frustrated. The Wolverines explode in quarter number 3. We'll have highlights when we continue here on Inside Michigan Football. Inside Michigan Football is brought to you by Meijer, presenting sponsor of the 2022 Michigan football season and proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. Back here on Inside Michigan Football, the Wolverines down 17-14. We asked on the radio broadcast for them to respond in quarter number 3, and oh, did they. We started off, Rutgers goes wide receiver screen on the first play, and the Wolverines blow it up with Junior Colson.
Well, Junior Colson did a great job of getting out here, and when you have linebackers with that speed, we're going to talk about Mike Barrett in just a few minutes, but when you have that flexibility, it allows you to be creative. And what they were able to do coming out of halftime adjustments. We talked about this on the broadcast. We're going to talk about it a long time. When you have Jesse Minter going in there, making adjustments, and guys that can understand how those adjustments affect them in the second half, you have results like this.
Shovel pass, Chris Jenkins blows it up, and Michigan's defense gets a 3-and-out to start half number 2. Let's go to Jansen Vision, the Wolverines' first possession. This is Donovan Edwards, who motioned out of the backfield and became a weapon in the pass game.
Well, and the interesting part about this is, hey, Donovan Edwards, we know, we've seen him as a wide receiver. He's going to line up down here all the way at the bottom of the screen, and all he's going to do is beat the receiver, or beat the corner off the edge. But the key part of this is when you look at what J.J. McCarthy can do, it's not an easy pass. A lot of touch, but you also got to put some zip on the ball. Drops it behind the corner and in front of the safety, and as we let this play roll, it's a perfect pass, and it literally is right in front of the safety, and we saw the corner just out here outside of the screen. A perfect pass.
So the Wolverines knocking on the door. Roman Wilson's out, the freshman. Tyler Morris steps up here on a 3rd and 9.
Well, it's great to see a young player be able to make a pass that you're going to get hit. You got to get first down yardage, and he's able to convert that into a first down.
The Wolverines looking at a 3rd and 6 with Michigan looking to take the lead. Here's Donovan Edwards again in the pass game.
And the beautiful thing about this is same formation that we just talked about a minute ago earlier in this drive. You got Donovan Edwards one-on-one with a corner, and you would normally think, hey, with a running back and a corner, the advantage defense, not with Donovan Edwards, because all of a sudden as this play rolls, he does a great job of getting outside, getting some width, but leaving enough room in the back of the end zone for J.J. McCarthy to be able to drop it in there. And what a great pass, and an even better catch to get his feet in bounds and catch the ball before he gets out of bounds.
That gave the Wolverines a 21-17 lead. Now, here's Michael Barrett making a play defensively, the first of his 2 interceptions. He looked like a corner out there.
Well, he does have that defensive back in his backfield. Earlier in his career, he was the Viper in the defense, so he's covering slot receivers. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to think he could cover a wide receiver. Does a great job being in the hip pocket, picking off the pass.
That set up Blake Corum with a 2-yard touchdown run, and Michigan led it 28-17. All right, this is Gavin Wimsatt's next pass after the Barrett interception, and once again, after the tip, it's Michael Barrett again.
Well, and it all goes together. It's pressure on the quarterback, it's the tip, and Michael Barrett, right place, right time, and this time, instead of getting tackled on the 9-yard line, takes it to the house.
31 yards, Michigan led it suddenly 35-17. Here's a 3rd and 7, and this time Taylor Upshaw, who had the good pass rush earlier, gets a sack.
Well, when you are able to beat guys one-on-one, that allows Michigan's defense. Hey, Rutgers, they're a team that's going to throw the ball downfield. You've got to be able to beat and win matchups up front with 4, sometimes 3 rushers, and Michigan so far this year has been able to do that.
The Wolverine defense wasn't done. Here's Will Johnson, his first career interception, and then 29 yards on the return.
Kind of looks like another number 2 at one point.
He wore that jersey for the exact reason people suspect that he did. Then Blake Corum goes 28 yards and put the Wolverines knocking on the door again.
Another number 2, and his elusiveness, his speed, his acceleration all pays off on this run.
2 plays later, he scores, and the Wolverines lead it 42-17. Let's go to the fourth quarter. That's the score. Ronnie Bell will watch this crossing pattern, but you want to talk about an offensive lineman who had just checked in for this play when Trevor Keegan limped off.
Yeah, Trevor Keegan comes limping off. All of a sudden, hey, get your helmet. You know, Giovanni El-Hadi, you're in the game. You're going to see him lined up at left guard right here. Jeff Percy next to him, his first start, still learning as this goes. But watch, defensive end here is going to beat Jeff Percy on the inside, and you've got to trust that your guard is going to be there, and that's exactly what Giovanni does. Inside rush, Giovanni, he's helping his center, eyes on the defensive end, and all of a sudden, hey, as soon as he comes in, Giovanni is right there to help out, and that's a great feeling as a tackle to have confidence in your guard. That's the reason it was completed. Now, the very next play, before you even get a chance to talk about it, I'm going to jump in here because Giovanni just came off the bench, helped out his tackle. Now all of a sudden he's going to pull, and the reason that this play is successful is because of him and Max Bredesen. He's going to come up on the inside here. They're going to seal everything to the outside, allowing this run to break free. And it's executed to perfection.
As Donovan turns the Jets on, John's got a football crush on Giovanni El-Hadi. That sets up a Jake Moody field goal, and the Wolverines led it 45-17. Michigan starting to run away. Davis Warren gets in at quarterback, and here he scrambles for 12 yards. Shows his athleticism.
Well, he does, and a guy that didn't get a chance to play much high school football comes in. We saw him in last year's spring game. I've got a lot of confidence that if something happens, he can step in and perform.
There was a Tavier Dunlap sighting. He got a carry for 15 yards. Good to see Tavi on a run.
Yeah, I mean, the depth of running back right now, you've got Blake Corum, you've got Donovan Edwards. Tavi Dunlap is trying to, as best he can, to break into that lineup.
And then Isaiah Gash with the touchdown. That gives the final score of 52-17. How about halftime adjustments? So far this year, Michigan has outscored their opponents 84-6 in the third quarter.
Well, and when you have a defense, first of all, that gives you 3 turnovers. They turn one of those into a touchdown themselves, but you're able to capitalize on those. 9 drives that Rutgers had in the second half, 6 of them were 3 and outs.
We'll hear from the head coach of the Wolverines, Jim Harbaugh, next. This is Inside Michigan Football. Today's conversation with Jim Harbaugh is brought to you by Meijer.
Coach, obviously not the first half that you wanted, but what did you tell them at halftime to turn things around?
Yeah, it's great. It's better than we started the last time we were here. We were down 17-0. Adjustments, just adjust the chin strap a little tighter and keep playing ball, and they did. I'll tell you, defensively, I think they had 9 drives in the second half, and we allowed 1 first down, 3 interceptions. And one was the best kind, the pick 6. Mike Barrett, in the right place at the right time. And offensively, J.J. McCarthy, the kid doesn't rattle. He does not get rattled. Took some hits and looked at the stat sheet and saw there was 151 yards passing, but it felt like 300 because he was making the big play when we needed it to keep those drives going, and some incredible throws. And he got hit around a little bit, and you could see that. Didn't flinch a bit. Just feels great. May never have a bigger win this week anyway.
Well, and let's talk about the defense a little bit more. 13 total drives in the game. 6 of them were 3 and outs. 3 of them were interceptions. So you've got 9 drives. They only had 4 drives where they gained yardage. Just how aggressive was this defense today, and how big were they in settling things and getting things back on the right foot?
Well, they definitely had the momentum going into the half, and then quickly our defense, got the momentum back and never gave it away. After that, it was huge. The run wall was there, and guys looking for the ball when it was in the air, and getting those interceptions. They were coming in droves just when we needed them.
The run game. 109 yards by both of Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, and Blake Corum every Big Ten game 100 plus yards.
Yeah. Made some adjustments in the run game. Went to some more gap scheme, and we had a slice play that was working really well for us. Jeff Percy making his first start. I'm so proud of him. I thought he did a heck of a job. Gio went in and at guard too when Keegan went out. That was pretty cool. Will Johnson making his first start. yeah, I was really proud of those guys. Next man up, didn't flinch a bit and had a heck of a game. And you like to see those guys making their first start, use that as a springboard and take off from there.
3 games left in the season. What was the message to the team after the game?
Just keep it going. It's going to be a happy flight home. We'll enjoy this one and get on to Nebraska. Really, we're in that mode right now. Go 1-0 each week.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, John.
Up next, we'll go inside the Michigan locker room with our Ed Kengerski here on Inside Michigan Football.
Welcome back to Inside Michigan Football. In the movie Gladiator, there's a scene where Maximus turns to the crowd and says, "Are you not entertained?" Well, that quote certainly applies to this football game here in Piscataway. A tale of 2 halves as the Wolverines snapped off their 9th consecutive win.
It feels good. It feels that all of our hard work is paid off. Everything the strength coaches put us through isn't for nothing. We had to really step up our game, and we did that. And I couldn't be more prouder of this team, especially the young guys who had to step up into uncomfortable positions and start in front of some starters that were out, and they executed tremendously. So I'm just proud of this whole team and what we can accomplish.
It says a lot about a team able to come back like that because, if you start on the road, could be anywhere, tough environment, still on a road game, and it says a lot about our team to be able to have that mental strength here in November.
It means everything to us, to be honest with you. It's a good sign to us that we could overcome adversity, that when we're face to face, when we're backed up in a corner, when we're in a dogfight, we're not going to give up. We're going to figure out what's wrong. We're going to come together as a team, and we're going to play our ball. We're going to play as a unit.
Despite a topsy-turvy first half, the Wolverines were anything but as they regrouped in the locker room.
Everybody knew what they had to do. We got to stay calm in the face of adversity and, be an adult. You know what I'm saying? Can't get flustered, can't get out of hand, and trusting your guys, trusting the people next to you, trust that y'all going to get it done.
I thought we were executing pretty well in the first half. The score didn't show that. Rutgers came out to play. They're a good team. And second half, we just made the right adjustments. Our defense really helped us out. They gave us short fields. They turned the ball over, and they even scored on defense. So, we came out second half and kind of got after them boys.
We need to fix this. We know we can fix this. We're a good enough team. We're just beating ourselves right now. So once we came together, once we realized that, we were really, y'all can see the result.
Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards had bookend performances, each rushing for 109 yards.
Just kind of become the standard around here. Every game we expect to rush for over 200 yards, no matter who's carrying the ball. And we like when Dono was getting involved, and because obviously Blake, he's our bell cow. But when we're getting Dono the ball and getting him good yards, it's always good to take reps off of Blake.
This week's Elrose Steel Man of the Week is linebacker Michael Barrett.
I broke on it, I seen it, I saw the quarterback look that way, I broke on it, and once he tipped it, I was like, just catch the ball. That's kind of all I was thinking in my head, just make sure you catch it, and once I got it in my hand, I'm like, I got to take this one for 6, so I had to go.
When's the last time you've had a pick 6?
Never. Like in high school, I played quarterback, so I threw one in high school, but other than that, this is my first time getting a pick 6, it felt great.
The Wolverines pitched a shutout in the second half, held Rutgers to 57 yards total the final 2 quarters, and only 14 yards rushing for the game. For Inside Michigan Football, I'm Ed Kengerski.
Inside Michigan Football is brought to you by Meijer, presenting sponsor of the 2022 Michigan football season and proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. And we're back here on Inside Michigan Football, and when we travel around the Big Ten, we like to sample local food, and this week we went to White Rose Hamburgers to get John a pork roll. John is a big fan of pork.
A big fan of pork. Normally bacon, but this one, and it's a little bit hard to describe because it's not salami, it's not ham, but they take pork, they mash it, and they make these tubes out of it, and then they slice it up, they put it on here. There's an egg on here, there's some hot sauce on here, some cheese on here, and I tell you what, a pork sandwich, there's a lot of different ways you can have it. You can have pulled pork, you can have, kielbasa, you can have a lot of different ways, but this is my first pork roll.
He likes pork so much he would open up a pork fillet if one of them existed.
I would.
And
this is outstanding.
Is it?
This is very good. I know I'm supposed to be nice and offer you a bite, so I'll offer it because I know the answer.
Well, I'll decline since I don't eat pork. and you can eat the whole thing yourself, John.
This is very good. You would love it. I'm telling you.
There's something good at Rutgers. Pork sandwich.
One thing.
Thanks for joining us here on Inside Michigan Football. We'll be back next week to take a look back at the Wolverines game with Nebraska and preview a showdown with Illinois. That's next week here on Inside Michigan Football. So long.